So today we are covering hay talk. So I actually read a lot of online forums about hay to educate myself and to help educate the customers who are unfamiliar with hay. As you know, I was raised a city girl. We're not horse people, and we have been doing this for 5 years now. So all of the 5 years we have had cattle and pigs. We have been raising ducks for 3 years, chickens right from the get-go, and of course the pigs also. Bethany's coming up looking for me. I'm over here by the cows! So if you're going to sell hay, or if you're going to feed animals, you need to have information on how to feed them without them getting fat or without them getting too lean. So as you know, I recently had a baby, and the kids were kind of in charge of feeding the animals. They were skipping grain a lot, and I'm trying to fatten these guys up again before the cold sets in. We've been real lucky that the cold kind of crept in, and it keeps kind of going out. So today is about a 50 degree day, but we are having freezing temperatures at night. So skinny cows need to be kept warm. These cows behind me are all on pasture, and I give them straw for bedding. These cattle are kept out in the pasture, out of the barn. They don't go back in. We had let them winter in the barn last year, and I have manure and bedding that needs to be cleaned out, and the bedding is unpleasant when you have to do it by hand. So be prepared for that. So winter's coming in, and you need to know about hay. This is hay talk for any animal, livestock, or here's doing things farm style. There's a pickup truck ahead of me, and it's just like a 98, 99 Chevy pickup, regular box. He has got a load of straw, and I think he went about a mile down the road from us to our neighbor and got a load. He is on, this is considered a highway. It's the main road. It goes straight through Lansing, basically across the state. And he has stacked his straw 5 high and out the side of the pickup box. Now, if you can see the shape of the square bales, he has stacks that are perfectly up off the side of the bed, but because he interlocked it, it's not going anywhere. I have hay customers show up buying hay all the time, and they're afraid to go 3 high on their pickup. And this guy was smart. He left his tailgate open, and when you do that, you can see he's got 4 crossed on the bottom. So with buying hay or straw, one of the secrets of it is learning how to stack and pack so that you don't lose your load. Because in Michigan, there is a huge fine for unsecured load, and we've seen the state police on these side highways like this writing tickets to people who lost a bale on the side of the road. Now I've got a row of probably 15 cars behind me, and I've just been following this guy because I'm not in any hurry. The guy behind me is hauling a trailer. Looks like he's got a load of scrap. Came across that pickup. They were taking straw. The Ace Hardware sells straw. And it turns out it was a neighbor I hadn't met before, so that was nice. About choosing the right hay for your animals. Right now, these guys are getting what was a late first cutting hay, and this is some second cutting. They're getting kind of a mixture of both. So this was a first cutting, and you can see it's kind of a yellowish brown. This sat in the sun. After a little while, we kept getting rains, so it got really tall. And this is actually hay that is a year old, and the cows eat it just fine. If you have goats or horses, they're a little more finicky. Cows are kind of like the garbage disposals of a farm, and pigs are the total garbage disposals, because anything these guys won't eat, the pigs will use for bedding and for food. So it's real nice hay, and like Chocolate, for him, I've noticed, I watch the bigger cows the most, just because I've known them the longest. The other cows have all been here for about a year, and Chocolate and Flower have been here for 4 and 5 years. Possibly even 6. It's so fast how you lose count. So this is real nice, grassy, second cutting hay. There's lots of, or first cutting hay. It is lots of heads, seed heads, alfalfa, clover. They really like it. You can see they just love it. They're going after it. So I'm feeding them this today because they have round bale feeders out there, and it usually lasts them 3 to 5 days. With 2 round bales, it usually lasts them 5 days. We had quite a cold snap, and it only lasted them 4 days. So running out in the middle of the week, I have a loft full of hay, and I'm giving them the last year's hay that we didn't sell. Now last year we weren't selling very much. So I just wanted to show you. Inside it's totally green, and it's real nice. If you buy hay, try to reach into the center and pull some out. So you can see there's lots of tender, nice grass leaves here. And then there's the thicker, stemmier stuff, which is common with first cutting. So this was not like a saleable bale, because anybody coming to buy hay, they seem to all want it green looking fresh out of the field. They don't want anything that's sat. Now the edge of the barn gets light from the doors being open, so sometimes just the sides of the bales get discolored. Somebody who is familiar with buying hay will look inside the bale or pull some out. If you are unfamiliar with hay, learn as much as you can and feel the center, because if it feels hard and packed, that usually means it was baled with some moisture, and you want it baled as dry as possible in the afternoon to early evening, because then it's not wet from any morning dew. Now this is the second cutting. It's less coarse, and like this, it's got a few weeds in it. All our hay is organic, unsprayed with any chemicals, because we're feeding our animals. And like you can see here, this is a clover head, and then this is, I believe he said this was a brome grass. I'm not real sure about the grasses. We've got several different kinds of grasses, but if I can find, this might be an alfalfa. So you can see the part is leafy, nice on top, a little bit of a stem. They're not too long of stems, they're not terrible coarse. Like this is a grass stem. And this is probably a weed or an alfalfa. And I think that's an alfalfa stem. So the coarser the stems, the more finicky an animal will be about it. This bale, you can see, I had just a little bit of moisture going on, and there's just a little bit of mold on the top. So I wouldn't want to sell this to a hay buyer, because if they got one bale with a tiny flaw in it, they might want to send it all back. And that's up to you whether you want to do hay returns or not. If somebody comes and inspects our hay and they're like, yep, it's okay, I'm not gonna sneak in a bale. You find that a lot at the auctions where hay has been damaged. They will sell a bale stack of like 50 at an auction. So yeah, you can see this is real nice and heady. It's very nutritious, lots of fiber, and this will provide them plenty of energy through cold days and the winter. And like we have 2 cows in milk right now, and like I put this little pile over here for the babies. That's one of the babies back there. So he was one of the first born in about June. The other 2, they've moved back there. They were born in, I think, August and maybe early October. I lose track. So this is one of the moms, and she's looking a little skinny right now because we're going into cold months. She's feeding the baby, and we have to do everything we can to keep her eating. Now, little Diesel's all on his own, and he's a little bull calf. You can see he's starting to get little horns now. We didn't know whether he would or not. His mom had horns, and Chocolate is the bull. He's polled, which means he naturally doesn't have horns. and some of his babies are polled and some of them are not, but the polled gene is dominant. So you just want nice, fresh smelling. This smells really nice, and that's something to look for when you are buying hay. If it is musty smelling, it may have gotten damp. Sometimes it's just a little dampness on the outside and nothing else. And horses are, see, this guy loves it. He's trying to get it through the fence. So even though these bales, like this bale being a year old, this bale's a year old too. A horse person is like, oh, we want this year, we want freshest. Second cutting is generally ideal for the horses, and it's real nice for getting them through the winter. First cutting is going to be more stemmy, more coarse, because it's got that stem that was left there and allowed to grow at the end of the previous season and into the spring. So that's some of the things to look for in buying your hay. If I think of anything else, I'll tie it in, but I got to get these guys fed before they just go about their business of pulling it through the fence.